Hello, everybody. How are you? Well, it's not often that I show up a couple of times. So, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today on the Awakened Woman podcast. My name is Claire Burt. I am the identity and confidence coach here at Inspired Lifestyle, and I'm trying to do something new today. So, for those listening on the podcast during this, I am actually live streaming it right through to my Facebook group, the Awakened Woman community, and I'm really, really glad to have that happening. We're trying something new, which is really cool. So, thank you all for joining me. If you're popping up and seeing this, please play along. It's going to be an interactive one if you feel. It's going to be a bit of a heart to heart. So, welcome to episode 7. We are here at season 2, and today, as an identity and as a confidence coach, sometimes we need to recall all the stories we tell ourselves and ask ourselves if they're really, really true. So what I'm talking to you today is we're going to burst the bubble. Now, what bubble are we bursting? Well, it's the boredom one. It is up to us. It is completely up to us as an independent, strong, modern woman to call ourselves out on what is not working in our environment, in our relationships, as a parent and as a mother, and with ourselves, and why it's up to you to take control of that and not leave it to other people. Sometimes we get caught in our excuses, and I'm first to say they're very, very same. So if you're following along and listening in the car, you might want to pop your headphones in. There's not going to be any expletives, but it might just be something that you need to focus on. So if you're watching live, please take some notes if you feel across the way. If you're listening to this, I would love for you to tag me in a post at Inspired Lifestyles on Instagram or Claire Burt, however you like, and see who else you need to get this message across to. So as women, we always fall victim, I suppose, to our excuses. And what we call our excuses are, we know the ones where we say we don't have time, the ones we say we don't have energy, the ones we say that it's not my fault, the ones we say, I'm not getting what I want. He doesn't speak to me right. She doesn't speak to me right. The kids don't listen. I feel flat. I feel stuck. I'm not inspired. I'm bored. It's all of those little throwaway comments, excuses that really tend us to keep us feeling stuck. Now, I'm being mentored by a very beautiful woman at the moment, or two very beautiful women, and one of them is speaking so loudly to me in a lot of my different areas that it is very, very interesting how you can hear the same message multiple times and yet you're hearing it for the first time as well. So what I'm speaking to you about today is bursting the boredom bubble. If you are sitting there complaining about what you don't have, how you don't feel, what you're not getting, and what you're not feeling, yet you're over here saying all of these things in the left hand, I'm not, I don't have, I don't want, I don't feel, I don't love. Yet on the right side, you're not willing to change anything. That's why there's the disconnect in between. So between the left and the right, there will always be the little ziggly lines, and they're all the stories that you're telling yourself as to why you can't, why you don't, and why you haven't. Now, it could be a myriad of different things. And if you are following along, and the confident woman will break this all down in terms of environment, relationships, parenting, and yourself. So if you don't feel the way you want to feel, if you don't look the way you want to look, if you don't have what you have, if you don't, whether it's money, losing weight, image, confidence, style, sexiness, intimacy, passion, communicate, whatever it is, if you do not have that, I want you to ask yourself this very quick question. Are you giving it? Have you asked for it? Or are you just complaining about it and creating noise? Because if you're just creating noise, nothing is going to get heard. Now, let me break it down into a reality check. Those of us that are mothers with children that are able to comprehend and listen to instructions, sometimes it takes a little longer for others. Okay, if you're just saying words, nag, they're going to switch off. Right? Same as us. If someone's at us, whether it's at work and you're like, oh, stop busting my chops, but they're at you, you're going to switch off and put a wall up and they don't exist. If you are constantly at people with that attitude of nitpicking, of lack, of scarcity, of setting the bar too high, perfectionist, you are never going to get the connection that you want. You are never going to have the communication you want. You are never going to be good enough for anything else because you're not even good enough for yourself. So it sets the bar really high. Now, if this is resonating, please let me know in the comments. I will come back and check you for those live streaming on Facebook. For those that are listening on the podcast, I want you to think about all the times where you have nitpicked, where you've said something, where you've sparked a fire, where you've let a bomb drop and you've walked away and said, oh, it's not my fault. Now, if you're saying you have never done that, I want to call BS on that right now. I'm calling bullshit all over that because we have all dropped bombs, said stuff, let a comment fly, and walked away and played the victim. If you haven't, then kudos to you. You're living the most enlightened life and you're probably next to the Dalai Lama in terms of perfection, in terms of showing up. Because we've all dropped bombs to get a reaction because we're not getting what we, okay, we are lashing out in one area because we are lacking in the other. And it's probably because we are bored, we are not being challenged, we are not receiving, we are not being loved, seen, heard, affectionate, whatever it is. Now, in terms of confidence and identity, what is that going to do to you? Do you continually get pushed back and live in this boredom bubble? You shrink. And it's not that you shrink as a person, it's just that everything else on the walls around you grow. And you decide that you don't need people because they're not good enough for you. They don't do it the standard you do it at. They can't do it the first time that you ask. Blah, 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 blah. The flip side to that is, have you seen what they're dealing with? Are you picking your moment to have the conversation with somebody to get clarity, to get love, to be seen and heard? Now, let me put this into a story. If I come home, or if I've been at home all day, for those live stream, you'll see I'm working from home. We've recently moved our signage business home here too. Now, for my husband, if I'm a problem for me and a big issue for me may not necessarily be a big issue for him because he's not living in my mind, my body, my spirit. Similar to him, a big issue for him is me. I don't understand what you're talking about. And if you keep going, I don't understand, the disconnection gets so far apart that you just become two separate souls living together. So what I mean by this is that if you have a problem you want to approach, are you picking your moment to get the best value out of that conversation? Or are you just barging into a room, blurting it out everywhere and hoping that someone heard something, but kind of waiting for a reaction? Because that's not communication, guys. That's not relationships. That's not parenting. It's not even loving yourself. Okay? We need to be really mindful that when we have conversations with people, that when we have moments with people, that we are wanting a resolution to, that we are wanting a solution, problem being solved. We want to make sure that the people and the parties involved are really coherent in that situation and present. So if I want something done and I want action taken, or I'm at my wit's end, I'm not going to barge into an office and demand what I want. Because if there's no context to that, people are going to be like, well, hang on a sec, what the hell's going on with you? You were right 5 minutes ago. And this is where being a grown-up and being secure and confident in your relationships means that you can have conversations with people and you can open up rather than shut down. Because every time you shut down, a wall gets put up and then little things are going to annoy you. And then you're going to get resentful and then you're going to blow up into this massive problem that could have been solved a week, a month, a year, 10 years ago, but you never had the confidence to have that conversation that allowed you to feel free, that allowed you to voice your opinion in a way perhaps you've never been voiced before. So when we talk about boredom and bubbles and living the true version of you, when we want to live in our most confident self, being able to live in your most confident self and identify as the truest version of you means you don't hide anymore. It means you don't avoid having conversations anymore. It means you have the hard conversations. You are an adult about those conversations. You reciprocate in those situations. You listen. You take on the feedback without offering an excuse, and you find a solution together. Now, if this is freaking you out, it's okay, because nothing has to happen instantly. It's a progression. Now, if you've been following along and you're a part of either the Confident Woman or any of my courses I've done, I've shared a little insight into what's happened over the last 2 years in my own personal life, and why confidence, identity is so important to environment and to relationships. Because if you're not confident in your relationship, you are not being the truest version of you. How are you allowing someone to take care of you if you don't even know how you want to be taken care of? How do you expect someone to love you and see you and hear you if you don't even know how to love and see and hear yourself? Okay, similarly in parenting, if you want your kids to listen to you, how is the relationship going between you? Is it just a me telling you when you do exercise, or is there really some substance behind it that is going to grow? Are you allowing your relationship with your kids to grow with them? Or is it a very much do as I say, not as I do mentality? So there's a lot that we need to pick through. There's a lot that happens because, as I say, everybody is different. No one has walked in my shoes. I have not walked in yours. But we have similar resonating experiences because as women, we go through similar struggles in life. Okay. When we talk about boredom, it may not be, I'm bored, I've got nothing to do. It could be so much deeper on a level that you just feel like you're wasting your time. You're not living the what you want to do. You're living perhaps with expectation that you're living a life someone else wanted you to have and live, rather than actually living a life that you really wanted to do because you were fearful of what the response was going to be. And if you are doing that, you are never going to live your truest life. You are never going to be truly happy. You're not going to get to the age of 80 and go, wow, I was proud of the struggles and the ups and the downs and the way that my journey turned out. You're going to get to 80 and have regrets because you weren't confident enough, because you weren't courageous enough, because you didn't have the conversations, you didn't take the step, you didn't find the person, you didn't try. And I was reminded of this last night from one of my mentors, in that we continually give up and not try because we don't want to fail. So we're so fearful of failing that we don't even give it a crack. Now, if you keep going with that mentality, who are you not meeting? Who are you not connecting with? If you are in a sales and your own business, what opportunities are you missing in terms of customers? In terms of relationships, are you missing out on taking whatever relationship you have to such a deep and soulful level? Are you missing out on seeing your children for the people that they are rather than just being children? Are they always going to be children to you when they're 30, 40, 50? Or are they going to be people? And are you differentiating your children from each other? Or are you expecting one child to be the same as the other and vice versa? Excuse me. So it's really interesting when you venture down this path. And what are you expecting from life and what are you willing to give? And that is what I'm chatting about today, bursting the boredom bubble. Too many bees involved. Okay. It's up to us to make that change. It's up to us to dictate life and to those around us and, bring them along for the journey of what we want. So if we educate ourselves enough on what we want, we build the courage to invite people along with the journey. Okay, so if you're in business for yourself, you will invite people to take a look at your product, your service, your business, and they will come along through the journey with you. The exact same principle happens with relationships and children. Bring people along for the journey. Have people always supported me in what I do here? No. Am I okay with it? Yeah, now, but I never used to be. Did I come close to chucking it all in about 6 months ago? Mm-hmm. All of it. Chucked it all in. Was going to go walk away from everything, go get a 9 to 5. Because I was that insecure and unconfident, non-confident in my ability in myself. Okay. So close. Almost did it. But I persevered. Okay. And I've overcome a lot of my inadequacy triggers and how I feel. I am confident. I'm still an introvert. For those that don't believe me, I am the most extroverted introvert you're going to find. I love meeting people, but I need to come home. They're my boundaries. Okay. So it's up to us to change and bring people along for the journey. If we feel good, if we want to express ourselves, if we want support, we've got to talk about it. Okay, if you bring people along for the journey on the good days, the bad days, the shitty days, the really great days, people are going to be invested. Similarly with husbands, partners, kids. Let them get involved. And here's the secret, let them help you. If you are busy building a business and you are being resentful that you've got a house to clean, meals to cook, all this stuff happening and people are sitting on the couch, have you voiced your opinion and said, I need help? Or are you expecting them just to magically notice because they never magically notice anything? Okay, let me ask you that. Have you asked for help? Because people do actually want to help. They're just perhaps to the persona and the wall that you built up that maybe they don't know how to approach you. Maybe they're a bit fearful of you because you may have snapped back at other times. because you've said no so often. When all you really, so they're fearful of asking you because, oh my God, she's going to bite my head off again. And you're fearful of asking for help because you have a fear of rejection and you don't want to nag. And it's just easy if you do it all yourself because it's just easier that way. Now, hands up in the comments for those that are following on Facebook, and comment if you write this down if you're listening to the podcast, does this sound like you? And the reason that this is so real and so raw and so true in color, and perhaps on the podcast it's bringing to life, is because this is how I used to be. Up until 6 months ago, this is how I used to be. My whole life. Because I thought I needed to be strong and independent, and a strong and independent woman did everything. Because if I didn't do it all, I would fail. And if I failed, people would think less of me and they would laugh at me and look at, I've just lived up to their prophecies, perhaps. Is that the right word? Okay. It's a cycle. And as I kept pulling that thread of failure, it unraveled. But in real life, people don't care that they're taking 5 minutes to help you. People actually want to help you. They just don't know how to help you. So let that perfectionism step away. Let that need to always be right, doing something, busy, perfect, drop away. Because while you are sitting there promoting this perfectionist life, everything is amazing, I'm so busy, I don't have time, I don't, you are repelling the people that are actually going to stick around for you long term. You may be attracting all of the wrong people and people that similarly have a victim mindset like you, who are going to feed that fear, feed that inadequacy, so that you see examples of it in your real life. If you believe it long enough, you will see examples of it in everyday life. But what if all these people on the left-hand side are willing to help you? They just don't know how, because they're fearful of asking. Because what if they get it wrong? And what if they fail? What are you going to do and say and feel for them? Okay, so if you're bored, if you are sitting there, if you are stuck, you are unsure, you are not confident, you don't have love, you don't get seen, you don't get heard, you are not acknowledged, let me ask you this again. Are you asking for it? And are you allowing people in to help you? Because nothing changes in your environment. Your failure mindset will always be there. You never get over your fears. You just get better at recognizing your triggers and responding to those. But your stuckness in your environment, in your relationships, your stagnancy in your way you parent and with yourself are going to continue until you put your hand up and draw the line in the sand and say, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I'm wanting to try something different. And trying something different might be listening to a podcast, might be joining a course, might be having a conversation with your partner, might be looking at your kids with brand new eyes. It might be being present for 5 minutes rather than needing to fuss around the house and make it perfect. Okay, break it all down, write it out what's not working, and then find a solution or find someone that's going to help you pull all those apart and rearrange your jigsaw so that it looks right. That is the most important part. That is what we are doing here. And that is what the confident woman will do. Okay, the confident woman will arrange your environment and relationships and friendships, parenting style, and the relationship you have with yourself on the next level, because it's going to get into the real life stories of what I've lived through and how I am now confident and safe and secure and adequate in all of my life. How I've managed to repair things that were shattered to a million pieces. How I've let people help me. That is what the confident woman will do. The awakened woman will do that to a level that will invite the community to feel that with you. But the confident woman is what is going to take it to the next level. So if you're keen to burst the bubble, I want to ask you, what stories and what little bombs are you going to drop? Are you dropping here and there that you not even notice that are causing more friction than calm? And what can you do to invite calm and presence and love and passion and intimacy and connection and communication into your life? Okay, if you bring people along for the journey, what can you release and what can you gain? Rather, if you keep fighting the battle, what are you continuing to repel? because that's what that's what we're talking about here. If you keep living the way you are living, you are still repelling people rather than bringing people in. And that is how we bust the bubble and we burst the bubble. Okay. It's a gentle pop that allows everything to gently fall away, and we start seeing inspiration in our existing environments. We start seeing that home is actually a sanctuary, that people are actually there for a reason, that my kids are amazing as individuals as well as together, that I am the most important person in my life because my ripple effect of my kids, my relationships, and my business, my home rely on me being the most important person. Me being the most important person and being taken care of by me first means that I'm showing people how to take care of me. I'm showing people how to love me. I'm showing people how to talk to me. Okay, if I show negative emotion, if I talk to myself down, if I did all of those things, I'm allowing people to do the same to me. If you are doing that, then you cannot tell them that that is what is happening. They cannot tell them that you can't talk to me that way if you're not exempling to them what to do. Similarly with your kids, you must have boundaries. You must have a boundary with them, but it's also about relationship building at the same time. Okay, it's really, really important. So ladies, I hope that you have loved this. Please tag a friend, like and share this post. Give me some love on the podcast, perhaps leave a review of what you thought of this episode, so that I know what we're looking forward to in the 2023 in the Awakened Woman community, which I'm really excited to bloom with you in. So ladies, please treat yourself kindly and start making yourself the most important person in your world, and start noticing how everything around you changes. It's super exciting. So I look forward to hearing you soon. Thank you for those that joined us on the live stream. I'll come back to all of the comments and I'll speak soon. Have an awesome, awesome day. Bye, guys.